Happy New Year, guys. Y'all are just gonna have to forgive my voice. I mean, this cold has me in a fucking chokehold, but I watched the Truman Show again as an adult, and it's just something that I felt that I would like to share and I don't know, just talk about it because when I first saw this show when I was a kid, this was just yet another funny movie by Jim Carrey because I could see the funny person. And there was some funny elements about his clumsiness, the weird shit that it does, usually in all his movies. But I didn't really grasp the message behind it because the Truman Show is not a funny show. It's something that's supposed to be supposed to get you to question reality control and how your free will can be manipulated by people, and just to challenge you to look at how most of your life is shaped by the systems, and these systems none of us agree to, but yet we still live under them, we still function under them. Like throughout this entire show, his entire world is fake, but he is real, and everything that's happening to him is against his will because he did not ask to be in this type of a reality, this construct, and really gets you thinking about how social media is, everything that we usually do, expectations people have of us, expectations that are set by society for us, the traditions that we all participate in without realizing what we're doing. And it gets you thinking and questioning things because why is this normalized? Truman's life is basically scripted by the God in quotes in his life. That weird guy called Christoph, like he's literally constructed a life for him because he was saying in the movie that he's known him since he was born, since he lost it. Like he has seen him lose his first tooth. Like he has monitored this man throughout his entire life and he has controlled everything that has been happening in his life. And this is just crazy because what really gives someone the right, the stance to do this? Like this is just crazy. And everyone who was in his life was playing a role. They basically were paid to be there. So everyone was participating, knowing what they're doing except Truman. Truman was the only person who never consented to this. And things were happening to him that he didn't know were happening to him until Sylvia mentioned something to him. And he started to wonder, like, okay, I've been noticing a couple of weird things. And finally, everything started to make sense to him. Like, he just started getting this feeling like something is awfully wrong. And excuse me, guys, one thing I loved about this is that he always had this need to do more, to be somewhere else. He always felt like he was trapped, but he just didn't have proof until he started like questioning things. That's when he found out that this was a lie. Even his best friend, who was just put there as a pawn to keep him in line, to keep him in check, just like how society has rules and regulations to keep everyone in check. And if you dare like go past that or try to break from the norm, you're branded as maybe being difficult, hard to work with, hard to live with. Like they just have to keep you in check, and once you break free from that, you become a problem to them. Now, what was even crazier is that the real world, the guys who were watching the Truman Show, these guys were just looking insane because they had this addiction to watching this man's life. And this is how really society consumes people's real lives as entertainment, and shows us how we've basically normalized constant surveillance and not really caring about consent, because when the content is good, that gives us the right to this and this parts of your life. And this basically happens to a lot of people who put out their lives out there. And when they complain about people crossing boundaries, people are like, no, you've put this out for us. You don't have like a say. You can complain. But if we really think about it, is that really normal? Is that okay? And why have we normalized this? And this was really ahead of its time, actually, because it predicted what we see today in reality. Another aspect another aspect in this movie that really stood out for me was fear. Like, fear was being used as a tool of control. Like, Truman is kept in a place of fear of water because of his dad supposed drowning, a fear of travel. The wife kept gaslighting him that he doesn't like that place. Every time he tries to leave, something is happening and they block his way because they really don't want him to leave. And fear of the outside, basically. And this just really taps into like how conditioning as well can be mental. It doesn't have to be physical. Someone doesn't have to restrain you in the physical. They can actually do it mentally, because if you're caged mentally, even if I let you go in the physical, you'll be afraid to do so. This also reminds me of Game of Thrones, how Greyjoy was done dirty by that. I can't remember that weird ass guy. What was his name? What was it? There was this weird guy who like castrated him and fucked with his mind majorly. Like, his sister came to save him and was like, "You're Greyjoy," and he's like, "I'm scared. I don't want to go. I don't want to go with you." But see how like that's the cage he was put in, and he could not leave. Same thing as Truman. I think deep down he knew that there was something wrong, but he was too afraid, and Christoph was banking on that Truman was too scared. But Truman eventually broke out and he was like, I got to go, I got to leave. And that really begs the question, is it safer to live in a lie or just risk everything and know the truth? And Truman took that route. He chose the truth and to be free. And Sylvia was really important in all of this because she broke free and decided to tell Truman the truth. And she was taken out of the construct that he was placed in because she was a person who could really show him what was happening and how he was living. And I loved everything about it because in the end, after he went up the stairs, he saw the door and it was written exit, and he really had a choice and he chose to walk out. And even the image here, he still said his like catchphrase, but he was aware and he had made up his mind that he was gonna leave, he was gonna go, and this was the best thing. And I'm happy that Truman was able to escape this matrix, but which also begs a different question because he stepped out from this one matrix and stepped into another because the real world is also messed up. And this is seen by how people were constantly consuming his content. People are working, but they're not focusing. They're watching the Truman Show. That guy who was in the back constantly in the bathtub, that was insane because he would sleep there, get up there, continue watching the Truman Show, and how everyone lost their shit when Christoph cut off the feed when Truman escaped. So I felt like he stepped out of one matrix into another, but I'm glad that he left because I'd rather take the next Matrix because at least there he is with real people in the real world and it's just not him being owned by a company, being controlled, being monetized, being made a product for other people's fun, entertainment, and consumption. So this movie was basically for us to think and think hard. If you've not watched The Truman Show, you need to go and watch it ASAP. Guys, thank you for bearing with me with this weird ass voice, this weird ass cold. But yeah, watch it. Give me a review. Tell me what you think about it.